Welcome back to Sports Center. Australia coach Brian Goorjian's keen to welcome Ben Simmons back to the Boomers, telling SEN Radio in Sydney, quote, "I think his mindset is getting healthy, getting in shape, and getting ready to play in this World Cup. There were unfortunate circumstances why he didn't play in the Olympics, but I feel like he's going to make himself available." And Simmons told Perth Now he's currently focusing on back rehab, but, quote, "I love what Goorjian is building with the Boomers, and I look forward to being part of the program in the future." Kane Pitman, part of our program in the present. Kane, Simmons was not named to the 18-man FIBA World Cup selection camp, the lone NBA Aussie omission. If he makes this final roster, how does he fit into the team?
He'll fit really nicely, and this is the reason why everyone still continues to talk about Ben Simmons. Phil, I feel like we can get to the 2028 Olympics and we can probably cut up this segment and use it again because the storyline has been never ending. I think defensively is where you obviously want him and need him in the squad. If you do come up against a team like Team USA in a medal game, he can defend multiple positions, is an all-defensive NBA player multiple times. So that is the upside, and that's why we continue to talk about Ben Simmons. This Boomer squad is absolutely loaded, which I know we'll get to, but he is still the wild card that if he's healthy, he will come in. But we just haven't seen him play. Only 42 games this year, a lot of those on minutes restriction. So I'm not sure that you can have the trust to pick him health-wise this year, but the idea is tantalizing.
Well, if he is in the mix for the 2028 Olympics, I promise to wear the same suit. We can just make this easy for our editors. Speaking of suiting up, if the FIBA World Cup were tomorrow, Kane, who's your starting five for the Boomers?
Yeah, I got asked this, and I'm not going to lie. I wanted to cheat, and I wanted to have 6 guys in there because I think in the name of versatility in 2023, there is going to be a change in starting 5. But there's 3 locks. Patty Mills, the go-to scorer for this team. He's done it for over a decade for the Boomers, and he will do it again. Josh Giddey, we've seen what he's done in his first 2 seasons in the league. And Jock Landale, we might get to him a bit more in a second here. He's playing for the Phoenix Suns in the postseason. He is the big man for this team. Matisse Thybulle and Joe Ingles, I think, are the 2 guys in the 5. But Nick Kay will come in and start some games throughout this tournament as well. So I think those are the 6 guys that are going to be in the mix.
You mentioned Jock Landale. Let's just talk about him right now. He's up over 20 minutes in both games 3 and 4 for Phoenix. He's the only NBA Aussie left in the playoffs. Kane, he's shooting 65% for this series. What stands out to you from Landale?
Well, he does all the little things, and he only played 22 minutes across the first 7 postseason games for the Suns, a lot of DNPs, and that kind of encapsulates what he's been through the season. He has learned to be patient, but when he's got on the floor, he's been an impact player. Defensively, he's jumping in the passing lanes, he's able to create turnovers, and then he runs in transition as hard as any big man in the league. If you spend a few possessions just watching purely Jock Landale when he's on the floor, you will see that most of the stuff he does goes unrewarded, but it's able to box out, to open up lanes for these other scorers. And so you look at the box score and you might not jump off the page, but he is having a big impact. The Suns have outscored the Nuggets by 26 points in those 42 minutes across the last 2 games.
Just fortifying that NBL to NBA pipeline. We have another name in the mix there, 18-year-old French big man Alexandre, a projected top 20 pick in the 2024 draft, tells ESPN he's signed a deal with Perth. What does this mean for the NBL?
Well, it's just a continued pathway, and we've seen it now with first-round picks. And when the NBL went to the Next Stars program, they needed to get it going straight away and have some early success. And they had that with LaMelo Ball, they had that with Josh Giddey, and now there is a real French pipeline. If you think about Ousmane Dieng, Rayan Rupert, who we believe is going to be a first-round pick this year as well. Hugo Besson wasn't a Next Star, but another French player that was drafted. So I think these young prospects look at the NBL now, and they understand that there is runs on the board. They have seen guys go from the NBL and not only get drafted, but have a big impact in the NBA straight away. So it's a big period for the NBL, and they continue to have these big young prospects come across here, which is fun for Australian hoops fans.
And he's the 2nd projected top pick in that 2024 draft who chose the NBL. A.J. Johnson, Texas commit, decommitted in favor of the Illawarra Hawks. Kane, thanks so much.
Thanks, Phil.